Whether you're a die-hard fan or just looking for a good laugh, this monthly series promises to deliver the unexpected with a dash of humor. Tune in as Lance and BT dissect the what the fuck moments that make MMA and pro wrestling the exciting spectacles they are. It's time to let loose and embrace the madness with the WTF News Desk, where Lance and BT bring you the 10 strangest and most fun topics each month, leaving you entertained, amused, and eagerly awaiting the next episode.
We're live from 304 Studios in Jonesboro, Arkansas. This is an STS Pod.Club production. It is Friday morning at 10 a.m., and I just want you to know I'm BT, owner, founder, president of STS Pod.Club. This is episode 906. Cool Kids Countdown 166, and this guy right over here, well, there's no truth, and there's going to be plenty of rumors since he retired from his shoot job, so we got to make sure we get all this cleared up. He will not be Travis Scott's cigarette holder. He will not be cigarette holder.
Yeah, cigarette.
His home is Chicago, the home of the Chicago Wolves, five-time American League hockey champions. Saturday, January the 11th, that is tomorrow they
night
will be in California against the Coachella Valley Firebirds.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate right now.
Snark of excellence, my partner in crime, your friend of mine, well, sometimes. He is Lance Levine, and we are the best Twinkies in podcasting.
Oh dear, where did that come from?
I don't know. I just made it up.
Right here in the Mallow Cup Studios here in Chicago. Mallow Cups, big in the South, right? Is that like it's like a goo-goo cluster, whatever those.
Mallow Cups and I don't know if a smoothie. Did I ever tell you about that?
I think so. I think you sent me.
I'm gonna have to send you some of them because I found a site that has them.
Yep.
It was Mallow Cup. And smoothies were in every dime store and everything when I was growing up. And the smoothie's kind of a butterscotch, kind of a butterscotch cup. It's
like
the
a
size,
Reese's, but
like
butterscotch.
Yeah. Very good.
Mellow Cups. I found Mellow Cups. I've been told Mellow Cups are only available seasonally, which I find hard to believe because I was able to get some online, like you said. So, but yeah, the fire in California, man, that is horrible. That's horrible. And you're saying
they probably won't be there, but I had to put them over. You know, I always got to put them over.
The NFL games are possibly going to get moved to Arizona because they're supposed to play NFL playoff games this weekend.
Right.
It's tragic. I saw that. Just horrible news. Horrible footage. Don't want to start off on a downer.
I know you just brought it down. Wah, wah.
Well,
so
they're playing the fire in California. I'm like,
here we go. I'm just reading what I got from the internet, man. Tell us. I want a teaser. We done talked about. We're doing a teaser. Then I'm gonna do some business.
Taser. Don't taser me.
Teaser, not taser. Teaser.
You're a tease. You are a tease.
Oh, I am a tease.
The wife has told me this on a number of occasions.
What's a teaser? You're supposed to teaser.
I am the teaser. Oh, that's right. So tonight we are announcing, or this morning we're announcing the WTF-inator for 2024, and we have compiled the list. We have the list. We've done this for 6 years now. We've actually done WTF for 7 years. First year we didn't announce a winner because it was a new concept to us. So after that, we got it all down, and we have the interesting follow-up of who has won, who has gotten the most mentions every year since 2019, I think was the first year we did it. So that is coming up at the end of the show.
You got to stay to the very end.
Who got mentioned the most in WTF news throughout the course of 2024.
And just to let everyone know, if you're watching it live here on
Friday morning. Yep.
If it goes over 60 minutes, you'll have to search for it somewhere. I tell you what to do. If it goes over 60 minutes, I will put it on Rumble in the full, except for the Patreon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll stop at 60 minutes on Facebook, YouTube. So if you're watching it there, you'll have to go get it on Rumble. All right. So really quick, we did some business things. I did not complete everything for the end year. I'm doing a double check on all the stats, and it takes forever. But I did get some audio stuff. We had the most audio plays we've ever had in 2024. Top plays of 2024 was number 5 was a Rolling Into Memphis 165. Number 4 was, and when you sent this to me, the things I said about this episode, because it was in 1942 when it was made, but it was a record store, Dan Fogelberg. Number 3, Observer Wrestle Kingdom, which that kind of surprised me. Number 2 was the Cassette Wrestling News with Jerry Lawler. That's episode 895. You want me to do a teaser on that now? Here we go.
Brian Trammell is a big, fat, unathletic looking slob. Brian Trammell is a big, fat,
and number one was, and when I put these together, I always think to myself, is anyone listening to this? Episode 850, we had some fun Patreon extras on it with some Memphis wrestling stars, but it was the 8th annual, okay, that's crazy. 8th annual Great American Bloopers and Outtakes was the number 1 most listened. That was just on audio plays. Real quick, December, Observer the Observer Hall of Fame was number 3. Number 2 was Conversations with Dustin Starr. That's a Hall of Fame is episode 902. Dustin Starr 895. And for the 3rd month in a row, 5-minute time limit. That's episode 893. And you joined me with 5-minute time limit this past Tuesday. We had a fun time, didn't we?
That was fine. Can I appeal to get a 6th minute next time?
No. Wait, I'll have you last like we did, and you can talk more in Patreon.
How about Canadian time? Maybe I'll get Canadian. 6
minutes. Maybe. Tell us what are we doing, Lance? What are we doing?
It is the WTF news desk for December of 2024. I feel like we're getting it out a little bit early this month, so this is good. I want to continue that trend.
We got Lance month again this month. We have Observer the Observer with the new Wrestle Kingdom 19. Was it 19? Yeah. And then we will be doing top 10 stories of the year.
Oh, we did HOF.
Yeah, listen to it here on Friday morning. Next Friday morning, we'll be doing one, and the next Friday morning. So Lance,
another record store, of course.
Friday and another record store. All Lance.
Lots of good stuff this month. So it is the WTF news desk for December of 2024. We're going to put a bow on last year and get this year started because we're already up and running in January of 2025. So where should we start, BT, at number 10? Where should we start?
Oh, we're going to DDT probably. That's
probably going to a stipulation match. That's right, where we traditionally start at number 10. So it is the DDT Ultimate Party 2024 card. It was December 28th at the Ryogoku Kokugan. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'll have to consult online. It was 3,500 people sellout. And the match was Invisible Man beating our guy Don Shaco Dino in the match. And so the stipulation was that Dino was supposed to be facing Great-O-Khan from New Japan, but Great-O-Khan was injured and could not be there. He did, however, work Wrestle Kingdom a few days later. So I call a little bit of BS on this. I don't know. So anyway, on short notice, DDT was able to round up the Invisible Man. So they were able to get a suitable replacement in the match. So
there's a joke there somewhere. There is a joke there with Great O'Con, Invisible Man. Because I like Great O'Con, but you don't. So
I'm a big fan of the Invisible Man. If you're going to put those
there
two
you go.
side
There
by
you go.
side. So anyway, so in the match, I thought this was clever. The referees and the referee and the announcers were wearing 3D glasses so they could actually see the action. Don Dino was wearing contact lenses so he could see the action too. So it starts fast. They're brawling on the ramp. Invisible Man does a dive. He hits a triple moonsault at one point, only gets a 2 count. That's fucked up. I can't believe it. So anyway, Dino is frustrated. He starts stripping down after, he's like all trying to fire himself up. I guess that's how he hulks up in Japan. So Dino starts stripping off his gear.
That's the way I hulk up here
on Saturday nights. That's right. So he's getting stripped down and he's like getting ready to make his big comeback. 5 other Invisible Mans. Would it be Invisible Mans or Invisible Men? 5 other Invisible Mans ran in to interfere. So there's a 6-on-1 beatdown. So one Invisible Woman shows up and she comes out to make the save. Believe it or not, there's an Invisible Woman too. So in the mayhem of all of this, Invisible Man rolls up Dino for the 1, 2, 3, and that's the match. So Invisible Man beats Dino. This fucking shenanigans went on for 11 minutes. That was my favorite part of the whole thing, is that they were able to get 11 minutes out of that shit. So,
and the translation stuff is so funny when you see, we talk about this, for X amount of episodes, but Ultimate Party Card. I just love stuff like that. They have all kinds of things. If you get into the Japanese culture, the English words, climax, G1 climax, it just don't translate, folks.
It's not the same, but Invisible Mans. That's my biggest.
Men's.
Invisible Men.
When you get to men's.
Invisible Mans. There were 6 Invisible Mans versus that poor Dino all by himself. So all right. The number 9, we got Colby Covington blames Trump. So it's December 14th. It's the fight night in honor of our guy Pat McAfee. Fight night, baby. So it's a 12-14 card in Tampa. It's a welterweight match. It's Joaquin Buckley beating the loose cannon Colby Covington via doctor's stoppage in the 3rd round of the main event of that card. Buckley was totally in control of the fight, in command. The fight is stopped on blood. So Covington, we've mentioned him before. His claim to fame is that he's Trump's favorite fighter. That's what he always proclaims himself to be, Donald Trump's favorite fighter. So
he did something with TNA also, didn't he? He's a huge
wrestling fan.
He's
done a few things. Yeah, he's
a huge wrestling fan.
So he took the fight as a late replacement. Apparently they couldn't get the Invisible Man, so they went with Colby Covington. Almost got a spit take out of you on that. So he was a late replacement in the fight. So he claims that he came into the fight unprepared and tired because he had been out campaigning. He had been out campaigning for Trump in the election. So there's a timeline issue here, though, because the election was November 5th and the Colby fight was December 14th. So he must have really been campaigning hard, because for the next 6 weeks or so, he still didn't have his shit together. So I think maybe Trump, now that he's going to be in office, he should appoint Colby Covington as the Secretary of Excuses. So that is Colby Covington blaming Trump at number 9.
What a character. He's always been a character, especially doing the promos and stuff. He's a huge wrestling fan. In bar stuff from wrestling when he's doing his promos and stuff. But yeah, I always blame a lot of stuff. I always like to keep blaming stuff on Obama. So I just, I mean, if they're out of bread at the store, Obama's fault. Damn. If I stump my toe, damn Obama. I mean, it's all Obama's. I worked in insurance during Obamacare, and man, all they did was, that son of a bitch, Obama, blah, blah, blah. So it was a fun time. But yeah, I mean, whatever. Blame it on Trump. Trump's got plenty to do now. I don't think he gives a shit. So
yeah. So all right, at number 8, we have Infarto appearing in CMLL. So it was the December 20th and 27th CMLL cards. That's in Mexico, Brian. It's south of the border. So they run a tournament. They run a tournament at the end of the year called the Gran Alternativa Tournament, where it is a star teaming up with a newcomer. So one of the teams was listed as Euphoria and Infarto. And I'm like, that has to be a typo, right? Infarto. So, and then I'm thinking, wasn't that Paul White, that weird Paul White character, like Captain Infarto or something like that?
I don't know.
Weird...
I thought I did that gimmick at one time. So
you did Infarto. I think there was an incident. So sadly, Volador Jr. and Hunter beat our guys, Infarto and Euphoria. So Dave said in The Observer, that Infarto is a bodybuilder type. So from that name, I would not have guessed that. I would have pictured him in ripped pants, with a chili stain on his T-shirt and something like that. So it turns out I looked up Infarto in the translator.
Looked it up too. Go ahead.
So Infarto translates to heart attack.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I thought it would be incident. I thought incident would be the translation. So, and then I did a little bit more digging on this. AAA has introduced a character called El Diarrhea. So that is next in AAA after Infarto makes his name meant in CMLL at number 8.
Oh, that's horrible. It's horrible. How did they not? Where
Infarto.
did they not say, okay, that means something else totally in English. Let's don't do that.
I need merch.
So.
I need Infarto merch.
Yeah, me too. Let's go to Arena Mexico. I'm wanting to go eventually before I die. That's one of on my bucket list. So
all right. Number 7 is Abbott and Costello meet the UFC. So is UFC Macau in China. We had the match was Su Young Yu. Now, Su Young, didn't you see Su Young Yu naked in a locker room?
No, I sure did.
Am I thinking of something else?
I was a gentleman, damn it. I was a gentleman.
So it's different Su Young, I think.
Right.
Okay, so Su Young Yu fought Bear Gang. I'm just going to say jealousy because that's how this spelling looks like is jealousy. So Bear Gang jealousy. So Su Young Yu over Bear Gang jealousy by decision. So via podcasting magic, we are now going to cover the match with the help of Ryan Frederick of the Wrestling Observer. And we're going to cover that match for you right here live on the show tonight. So BT, you want to get us started?
Let me, before I actually start it, you'll have to tell me again where we stop at. Just tell me to stop, shut up. So you was landing early before he scored a takedown.
You was controlling jealousy from the top and landing before they got to their feet.
You ended up getting jealousy back to the mat and landed a lot from the mount to end the first.
Now, the second saw you landing more on the feet as jealousy didn't get much offense going.
You was landing the right hand and some uppercuts.
Jealousy tried a spin attack and fell to the mat, which allowed you to get on top, where he landed 4 punches and elbows to end the second.
I was on top?
That mommy's
man, I'm confused as hell. The third saw you continue to control on the feet as jealousy did a little offense.
He had some openings, but jealousy just didn't capitalize, and it allowed you to land several right hands and kicks.
Okay, we're done. It's not as funny. The bit wasn't as funny as we thought it was going to be, but it was funny as hell as we read it.
All the media scores were for you. That's all.
Yeah.
Wrapping it up.
Lance actually sent me a text and said, go to this Observer and read this. Stupid. I was cracking up. He was cracking up. Who's on first, by the way?
You was on first.
Yeah, you was. Did you win? You won.
Yeah, you won.
Yeah, you
beat jealousy. Not you. Su Young beat jealousy.
And when I seen that, I seen so young you instead of Su Young you.
It was a men's match though, but it was Su Young was in the match. I don't know what happened. Everything's weird in Macau. I don't know what's going on over there. So, all right, at number 6, we're moving on. So it's as the AEW GCW world turns. So we got Brett Lauderdale and Tony Khan. Go to your rooms, both of you. Go to your rooms. So we got the continuing alleged saga of AEW versus GCW going on. So, of course, November, we'll recap quickly. November had Effie being mean to TK and his father with the comments about his father doesn't want him messing up his sports. So TK pulled Ricky Starks from GCW shows. Now Willie Mack is pulled from a 12-14 GCW show in LA. So when was Willie Mack last used in AEW anyway?
I guess he's with ROH. I was just fixing to ask you, is he still wrestling?
Is he still there? So anyway, this becomes a he said, she said. So Mack says that Christopher Daniels pulled him. Sanjay Dutt says, no, he wasn't pulled. Some are saying that Mac just pulled himself out because he wanted to avoid all this bullshit with GCW and AEW in the first place. So then on December 14th, the night of the show, Jericho shows up at the GCW show, and he lays out Cardona and Effie with a baseball bat, and he's wearing an AEW shirt. So I'm like, oh, so this whole thing was a work from the start. And then I'm thinking, they're claiming it wasn't a work. So maybe it was real and it became a work. So allegedly, Jericho and Cardona came up with this for PR for their ROH pay-per-view match that was going to happen. And the owners were okay with it. They just washed their hands of it. And their schedules allegedly just lined up in Los Angeles. So I'm like, yeah, right. I don't buy any of that. At this point now, I know it. The whole thing is a damn work at number 6.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an Effie fan, but the actual podcast that he did and everything was pretty damn awesome what he was saying. So if it was a work and not a shoot at the time, then that's pretty awesome. He did a good job on that. I got to give it to him. Doug Gilbert and Tommy Rich was talking about working Effie and who's the girl that he always tagged with?
Oh, it was the cat, Alley Cat.
Yeah. They wrestled them.
She turned on him.
Oh, damn it. That bitch. But they were talking about that when they were in the dressing room. Effie's like, well, I'm going to kiss one of y'all. And Doug was like, Tommy Rich, go ahead and kiss Tommy. And Tommy says, you're not telling the whole truth. He said, this is on Gene's podcast. He said, you're not telling the whole truth. He kissed you too. And Doug goes, well, maybe he kissed me too. So there you go. We got halftime coming up. I got a bunch of shout outs I want to do because I've been a very, very busy man.
Woo.
But first, let's take a commercial break. Upcoming events with Memphis Wrestling.
Don't miss Memphis Wrestling Live, Sunday, January 26th. The original bro, Matt Riddle, is coming to Memphis Wrestling. Meet Riddle at our VIP experience and catch him live. Saturday, February 1st, watch WWE Royal Rumble with us at Dave & Buster's. It's free. Friday, February 7th, meet us at Ghost River Brewing Company on Beale Street for our WWE SmackDown pre-party. It's free and all ages welcome. Saturday, February 8th, Memphis Wrestling returns to Strayhorn High School for a big event benefiting the Strayhorn Band Boosters. Sunday, February 16th, it's our next live TV taping featuring a WWE ID Tag Team Showcase. All tickets are on sale now. Get yours right now at memphiswrestling.tv.
All right. Thank you. Shout outs real quick. WrestleCopia Podcast Network is doing a show. I do a show with Gene and the P3 Radio guys, Josh and Richard. I'm a pinch hitter. I know that don't surprise you at all, Lance. But if one of those guys is missing, then I actually come on and we review USWA 1993. And I never had. I seen very little of this because I had a real life. Also on the WrestleCopia, and I never put another podcast network over, but I'm doing it this way because my old buddy Steve Crawford is doing a podcast going over Memphis history, 1977 during the split of Jarrett and Goulas. Lance, I started being a fan in 78 of Memphis wrestling, so they're going to go right into all of this stuff that happened with the. You talk about a wrestle war. They had a war going on in Memphis territory. And it's kind of hilarious. They sell stuff, but they don't really sell it. It's wrestling people sometimes con people. I don't know if you know that. I've done a bunch of podcasts in the last 5 days. I've recorded stuff for WrestleCopia. And I was a guest last night for the Reckless Abandon podcast with Mike Needham. Oh God, he's gonna hate me. Mike Needham. Mike Needham's a guy. I broke his nose, Lance. I hurt 2 people during my wrestling career, and I hit him with a clipboard, and he put his head in instead of bumping with it. Yeah, instead of bumping with it, he put his head in, and the clipboard hit him right in the nose. So he's always lets me know that. So I went on his podcast and we talked about Raw. So y'all, that's my shout outs. You got any shout outs?
Shout out to the Duchess for being a Rush fan.
She'll like that. One of my favorite. She's just really good. I can't listen to her podcast because they're all political. But I really like her and John a lot as people. Hopefully, if I go to Jersey this summer, I'll get to run into her. They've actually, her and her husband have volunteered to help me out. So, and travel and stuff. So. All right, we're ready. We're ready for halftime. Yeah, I got the short version. Lance, I didn't know what we was going to talk about, but the episode's going out today, talking about Raw with Mike. We just got the ratings in yesterday afternoon. On a Thursday afternoon, and I just wanted to ask you your thoughts on seeing how many people was actually watching it. Let me go what they said on the Observer. 2.6 million households. I've seen also for the week, somebody put up 6 million for the week, but according to Video App, it was 2.6 million, 116% higher than Raw's average in 2024. U.S. audience of 1.2 million households and higher than any other Monday Night Raw broadcast in the last 5 years. So the event also more than doubled the 18 to 49 audience versus last year. So what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's going to be tricky to find those ratings and have them be accurate because, like Dave was saying, like you can get the worldwide number of views, but it's trickier to get the American, and it's going to be very complicated formulas and stuff. So, I mean, regardless, we knew not only from watching the show, but we knew that there was going to be a huge audience for this because they really did a great job in promoting it, making sure you knew exactly where to go, where to find it, and knew, like, unlike when AEW would move Rampage to a different day and time, you would never know that fact, you know.
They didn't even put over the Dynasty pay-per-view last Saturday,
yeah,
you told me.
They never talked about
so
it.
You don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, they did a great job. They loaded it with stars. They made it pay-per-view caliber matches on that show. The show itself was so well put together. They did all the bells and whistles, all the lights, all the CGI, everything they could have possibly done to make it spectacular. Had The Rock come out, you know, right away. They had The Rock come out, come back later. And a secondary point that I think is not necessarily missed, but I think is going to be equally important this week is how well NXT did because they promoted that Rock was going to be there on NXT.
Oh, did you not see that? Did you not see that number?
No, I knew that was going to be good. Probably by
almost
far,
almost 1,900,000 and something. That's one of the biggest ratings ever for the.
And that was a damn good NXT show as well. And then
I haven't watched it all. I'm halfway through it, but I've seen all the Rock spots on Twitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just it'll be interesting to see what they do. But the average of NXT's went up, especially got a larger audience now.
Yeah.
We talked about this as soon as it was. Announced about Netflix, I started doing numbers, and I would send you, look how many potential the audience is, and it's unreal. And you know, to me, the whole worldwide number means more to me than just the United States because I want to see how many actual people are watching the show, and then I'm going to sit down for a few minutes and see if wrestling's more popular than it was, you know, what was it? More popular than it was, you know, back in the day. And you mentioned something that during the Attitude Era, we think there was more people watching it than that. But Rock also said something that it was the highest gate ever.
Yeah.
So it's just,
I mean, that's just saying that they have high ticket prices. They put a lot of people in that building, and then they've raised the prices to the point. I'm sure.
Still, though, it's money's money.
Yeah.
It don't matter how you got it. It's that increase with the ticket price and everything, and it's just like every other live event right now is drawn like crazy. And I talked about this with Mike. the COVID effect is what I've been calling it, because what happened was, man, that's one of my favorite sayings, I think. And it's so Southern. What happened was, everybody was in their house, and as soon as they started, everybody going to concerts, everybody going to, I talked about ridiculous concert prices and that you paid them when you want to see somebody. But it's not just concerts. It's everything. Comedy, wrestling, concerts, live business is crazy right now for everybody. Lots of stars. But
NFL games.
Yes. A lot of comedy stars have been made because of the COVID effect, with everybody setting in, and all these guys were still putting material online. And then when they went out live, everybody's going to see them. Yeah. The Theo Vaughn that we talked about one time, and Shane Gillis just exploded because of the COVID effect. All right, guys, we are done talking about Raw. Well, for now, anyway. You never know. We might talk about it again. So that was halftime. All right. We are going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. We are at 5, which is smut time. So social media uproar time. This is safe for the kiddos. It's not really smut. It's social media uproar time, where we document the battles on social media this month. So we had Flair versus her, and we have Dave versus Booker T, which is a good one. So December 20th, Ric Flair, with the first letter of every word fucking capitalized, and that triggers me every time Ric Flair posts something.
Me too.
The first letter has to be capitalized on every fucking word. So he posts this cryptic tweet about one person letting him down. He says he sacrificed millions to support her. So Merry Christmas to everyone. That's how he finishes up the post. Merry Christmas to everyone. So he gets blowback. Then he adds, it's not about a woman, except for the fact that you said her in the post.
Well, pronouns don't mean shit anymore.
I guess. So he says it's not about Wendy, because people immediately assume he's talking about Wendy, but it's rather about a guy who owes him $2 million from a 20-year-old business deal. So the speculation becomes that he's talking about Carrie Silkin for an ROH deal, and he's making fun of Carrie being named Carrie and saying her to poke fun at her.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one speculation. So anyway, then Silkin posts, please pay me back the $41,000 you owe me. So there's definitely something going on there. So about half the responses on X yell at Rick for the capital letter thing, like I yell at him for it. So at RYR1943 says, maybe don't sexual assault people. That was so. In addition to the bad grammar, maybe don't sexual assault people, he went after Flair for that. And then the other half called him out for using her and then trying to backtrack and say it's not about a woman. So anyway, then we have Dave, our guy Dave Meltzer, in the December 16th Observer. He talks about a new WWE show. It's going to be on A&E, and it's going to be called LFG, which does not stand for Let's Fucking Go, but I'm sure that's what they're playing on.
Damn.
LFG stands for Legends and Future Greats. So the description of it sounds like Tough Enough. It's going to have rookies working with coaches, but it's going to be at NXT at the tapings. So
I heard rumors that it could have some of the WWE ID guys featured.
Might.
So that'd be exciting, especially for Memphis Wrestling.
So Dave's comment here, which I really got a kick out of, was the announcers for the show will be Jeremy Borash and Vic Joseph. I wish we could get that team for NXT as well. So that was like a backhanded slap at Booker T, because he wanted to get Jeremy Borash to basically work with Vic Joseph. So I love that comment, because he didn't go into detail as to why he said it, but he did say it.
I know Booker T's bad, and don't get me wrong. I listened to NXT with him and Corey, and with Vic and Corey. Corey was talking over everybody, not Corey, but Booker T was. He wasn't as annoying with three people, because I guess he's not talking as much. But I am worst announcer ever. I've said it a couple of times because I get upset with listening to him and you can't tell what he's talking about. But let me just say, Lance, the worst announcer ever, and you probably never heard him because you didn't listened to a lot of territory stuff, was the Wrestling Observer newsletter worst television announcer was awarded in 1989 to Ed Whalen of Stampede Wrestling. He was god awful. Oh, he was so horrible. He tried to get himself over all the time. He was a radio broadcaster and then tried to get himself over in the matches and during interviews and everything. Just god awful.
Yeah, I remember reading about that guy, but you're right. I never did see any of that Stampede stuff where he was on there. But yeah, I always heard like horrible things.
Booker T's Jim Ross compared to him. I really.
That's an insult to Jim Ross at this point. So, all right, moving on to number 4. We got Wax Museum Shenanigans. So they still have those things? Fucking wax museums?
Oh, yeah. I've seen
2025. We have wax museums these days?
Yeah.
So anyway, Dublin's National Wax Museum Plus has removed its Conor McGregor doll. Would you call them dolls? Is that what they're called? I'm not sure. But anyway, they removed the Conor McGregor
I thought they were wax statues. I thought that's what they were.
I don't know. Doll was the first word that came to mind for me. So in light of his sexual assault charges. So why is it the Wax Museum Plus, by the way? That's what I wanted to know. So did Dublin have a lesser wax museum and then this one replaced it and got better? So now it's the Wax Museum.
I've got a joke for this one.
So the Wax Museum.
It's Wax Museum. It's plus because the second room's just fat people.
That's a lot of wax. So the Museum Plus has said that they are family friendly. They're a family friendly establishment. The Conor doll will no longer meet their standards and is to be removed. So the museum spokespeople said that the Conor one was also very popular with photo ops for the tourists. So now what? So, I mean, do they have a Bono one? That one is okay. They can have the Bono doll and people take pictures with that. So my hope is that they turned Conor into a bunch of candles and auctioned them off for charity. So, Blarney.
Yeah, apparently people were backing up to it and he was molesting them or something, so that's what happened. Yeah. I like the candle idea, though.
Yeah, they should auction off Conor as candles for charity, raise some money for the victims. So, all right, at number 3, we have Dave's Time Machine. I see you got the graphic up already, so you undershot it.
Oh, my bad.
So, Dave's Time Machine. So, in the never-ending Dave and Eric Bischoff feud, it keeps getting sillier and sillier and sillier. So, at DLock1 had tweeted, WCW would have never went out of business if Tony Khan was running it. And, of course, Dave can't resist, and he says that's probably true. So they would have copied more than one angle from New Japan. They may have kept Stone Cold.
Oh my God!
And they may have gone after The Rock. We'll never know. So, and I'm doing the math.
I gotta say something to Dave on this one real quick.
Motherfucker, you cocksucker!
I'm sorry. That's horrible. They would even put hey, get off Twitter, Dave. Get off Twitter. Please get off Twitter.
When WCW folded, Tony Khan was 18 years old. So I think we can draw some conclusions. It wouldn't have mattered. It doesn't matter if Tony Khan was involved with it because he was fucking 18 years old and he wasn't.
Lance just did The Rock on Meltzer.
That's right. It doesn't matter. So that's the conclusion that I think we can draw is the Time Machine is out of whack. The Time Machine is broken.
Oh, man. I just, Dave just needs to stay off Twitter. He just really does. They talked about it on Cornette's podcast, and he said that he had been told that Dave gets on Twitter because it helps the subscriptions. I don't know how that could help anything with all the stuff that he gets on there with all the trolls and all that. Yeah. And just Dave just says some of the craziest shit. So it just makes me wonder if I got it, there was 10 things that he said this year that were really whacked. And I think I got it. We'll play it on the Patreon.
I think that Dave needs to, I agree, stay off of Twitter. There's maybe get a wax figure or so. I don't know, get another hobby or something because it gets really weird, especially late at night. So anyway, we got number 2 is Tony Deppen has an incident.
Hold on, before you do it, go ahead and play it. That's not my incident report. I just played that for no, we're not doing me anymore.
right.
No, I just played it. No incident report, but since this is about an incident, I want to make sure we played the video.
Because it had a big 0, and I thought, oh man,
no,
the count all over again. So Tony Deppen has an incident. So December 10th, indie darling Tony Deppen has a controversial tweet. So news had come out that Tony Khan had donated 15,000 action figures to a mission in Texas for children for Christmas. So I thought that was very nice. Probably Evil Uno and Serpentico characters, but nonetheless, it was a noble gesture. So anyway, so Tony Deppen tweets, as someone whose family could not afford Christmas 90% of my childhood, I applaud this. If you want to find negative, then I hope you shit your pants during a very important part of your life. So I want to know, is Tony Deppen endorsing shitting your pants? Is he acknowledging that he had an incident, perhaps? It's very cryptic, and I commit in 2025, I'm going to investigate this story, and we'll get to the bottom of what Tony Deppen meant by I hope you shit your pants.
Well, I think he meant I hope you shit your pants kind of thing. So there you go. I mean,
I want to know more details.
I've never wished that on anyone. So, I did. I've wished it on you. I'm a liar right now. I've wished you'd shit your pants.
Which
when
has
you
never happened. Never will.
Yeah. So that you quit lying about it.
But those P3 guys that brainwashed you, I think.
Yeah, we were one of the funniest things on the 1993, the USWA Retro, is Coco Ware does an interview against Brian Christopher, and Coco Ware actually says, "You made me so mad, I want to throw up in your mouth."
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I've never been that mad at somebody to throw up in their mouth. So that was pretty gross.
That is pretty gross. And like I said, I think the P3 guys have brainwashed you. Us Yankees, we don't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't
whatever.
Where that's coming from. So, all right, we are at number 1. Put the fries in the bag. Ricochet turns and fails Twitter. All in one at number 1 this month. So it's another AEW weird turn without an actual turn. As Ricochet, or Rico, I call him Rico. I'm an insider. There we go. Put him in the bag, my friend. So I'm an insider, so I call him Rico. Now, do you call him Rico? Are you?
I do, but
okay.
This is the second guy that needs to be off Twitter. So there you go.
So Rico is now a heel. So I'm looking forward to this because I've never seen him as a heel. He's obviously great in the ring, and he's going to be working with Swerve. So this gets better and better for me. So on December 26th, Rico, he posts, "I don't want to see anyone switching it up. If you didn't like me before, you missed your chance. No jumping on the bandwagon now, cheese curlers." So I read this and I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Cheese curlers. So I'm like, is he trying to get cheese curlers over as an insult, or what is this supposed to mean? So we investigated. We turned our dogs loose and we investigated. So cheese curler is not in Urban Dictionary. However, I kept digging. A cheese curl occurs when a male leaves himself open from the rear. And it went into further detail, but we're going to cut it off right there because of the kiddos. So I'm not going to go into any further detail, but that is surely what Rico meant, is a male leaving himself open from the rear. So, and we want to basically say too, no offense to Frito-Lay or McDonald's on this. No offense to Frito-Lay over the cheese curler comment, but Ricochet trying to get that over as an insult at number 1. Cheese curler.
Oh man,
cheese curler. That's a Trammell weekend thing, I think. Isn't it?
It's horrible. That's just horrible. And he goes off. He goes off on everybody on Twitter. You start really appreciating these guys working for the WWE. They were kind of don't say that unless, don't say something stupid. Don't fight with the fans, blah, blah, blah. And you go, he's a guy that I absolutely used to love watching. And then, and I haven't watched this week's version of Dynamite, but I did start watching Dynamite again, news to everybody, when it came on Max. And I thought I was going to hate the heel turn. But I absolutely loved it. I thought he came off as just nutty, just fucking crazy, which might be Hell, it might be his real personality. Who knows the way he acts on Twitter? So,
Yeah.
Lance, we do a lot of stuff on Patreon with some honorable mentions, and we also do the Dave Meltzer typos, and we'll do that. But right now, we're heading off the main feed. Looks like the main feed got less than 1 hour, so we still have
we have the award to give out.
I forgot. Right here, we teased it. All right, go ahead. Right. Talk to us.
So the WTF-inator in 2024. So first, we're going to talk about who has won in the past. So believe it or not, in 2019,
you could say what the fuckinator.
The What the Fuckinator award. That's right. Yeah, so 2019, it was a 3-way tie. That was the first year we did it. So the 2019, the most mentions were a tie. Jim Cornette, Conor McGregor, and Joey Ryan. So these are some great names of the past of people who got mentioned the most in 2019. 2020, the winner was COVID. That's like bizarre that we had more COVID stories during 2020. This is the one that threw me. 2021, the most mentioned person on WTF was Charlotte Flair.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That totally caught me off guard. So then 2022, another great year. It was Sammy Guevara, Pam, and Ty Mello because of the weird, the love triangle where he got engaged to Pam and then he married Ty.
I still loved Pam. I still love her.
Pam was a hot. She's hot. So, and then 2023 last year was Chris Jericho. So I think it's amazing that we've had no repeats in the years of doing this. We've had nobody repeat, and
she is hot.
Second year, there we go. Ty is hot too, actually. So, all right. So now getting to this year, 2024, third place. We'll just count them up real quick. Third place was a 3-way tie. It was Logan Paul, Ric Flair, and Conor McGregor, each getting 3 mentions. So Conor was close on that repeat. Second place, this came really down to the wire. Second place this year was Hulk Hogan with 6 mentions. But the winner for 2024, put the fries in the bag, Tony Khan. It is you with 7 mentions throughout the year. Tony Khan, who I used to say was one of us. Now he is no longer one of us. So very quickly, these are Tony Khan's mentions for the year. In April, he released the Wembley footage 8 months later. He was shown at the NFL draft in a neck brace. It's going over some people's heads. So he called the WWE the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling, and he does the Daniel Garcia dance at the Collision table.
I can't believe you pronounced that wrong. So in you being
Harvey
one
Weinstein,
of them, so
Weinstein, whatever. All right, then in June, he has the unmasked Ultimo Guerrero wear a mask on TV, and the mask falls off. In July, he signs the deal with the Southland Conference to provide belts for West Montana State in the football, whenever they win football. In August, he's sued by Kevin Foote, also known as Kevin Kelly, for calling him mean names. In October, he runs a graphic for Takeshita versus Mascara Sagrada in a match, even though Sagrada doesn't work for AEW. He just wanted the match to happen and magically thought it would happen. November.
Here we go. You forgot.
Can we get the Eric pronunciation there too? So, all right, he pulls Ricky Starks from the from the match because Effie is mean to him. He's also called a communist by Jake Hager in November, and he makes a huge deal out of the November Rain video on whatever pay-per-view they were promoting, and he will not wrestle.
Thank God he will not wrestle, but congratulations.
And then finally in December, he may have pulled Willie Mack from GCW, but that is Tony Khan's banner year. And I think we might have our tugboat, or that was Infarto.
Yeah,
I think that was Infarto's ring entry.
Congratulations, Tony Khan.
He will be our first repeat winner, I think.
We'll be putting the big award there online, so you'll be able to accept it when you get a chance. I appreciate it. Guys, you know what I'm fixing to say. Same bad time, same bad channel on the best little wrestling podcast in the business. Be there. And as everyone knows, Lance, you got to know this by now, I love my mama.
I never heard that before. Is this true?
Dang.
Huh. Interesting. And as everyone knows, I have fun everywhere I go. I think tomorrow I might shave. I don't know. I might see if I feel like shaving tomorrow. Who knows?